The next part of trig that we're going to look at is the sine rule. Okay, so the sine rule is one of our trigonometric formulas that relates the length of sides to the angles that they have in common. Okay, so as I said to you in a previous video, before this point in time, we always needed our triangles to be right angled so that we could then use SOHCAHTOA. But all these triangles now, they're going to be scaling triangles, so we need another way of making this work. Okay, so this formula here is called the sine rule, and it's quite simple. It's also given in your formula sheet. It says a over sine A is equal to b over sine B, which is equal to c over sine C. Okay, and remember the way in which we name our triangles. That's where this comes in really handy now. So if this is angle A, this will be small letter A. If this is angle B, this will be small letter B. Now if this is angle C, this will be small letter C. Okay? And all it's really saying here is that if I was to use three colours, it's just saying here that A over the sine of A is equal to B over the sine of B, which is equal to C over the sine of C. Okay? So to make this formula work, what you really need to have is a pair of angle and opposite side. Okay? We'll see how this works in the example. So it says, find the size of the side labelled A. Okay? So you'll notice here that we're not given any letters. Let's go ahead and put the letters in. Okay? So if this is side A, they're calling it, we'll call this angle A. We'll call this angle B, so this will be small letter b. And if this is angle C, we'll call this small letter c. So let's look at our formula. So it says A over sine A is equal to B over sine B is equal to C over sine C. And it's really just a case of ticking off, well, what do we know about this? Well, I know that side B is 12, so I'll tick off side B. I know that angle B is 78, so I'll put a tick beside sine B. I know that angle A is 35 degrees, so I'll put a tick here. And my question mark is to find out the size of side A. So I'll just put a question mark beside there. Okay? So what I need in this situation here is I need this what to work out here. So I need a situation where I have a full fraction, a side and a paired up angle, which I have here. One of the values in my other fraction, and then the bit that's a question mark, the thing that I need to find out. I can only ever use two fractions of the sine rule at the one time, so you just forget about this one. Forget about c over sine c. You can only ever use two. Okay? So if you don't know anything about it, who cares? You don't need it. So really it's a case of A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put in what I know. Well, I know that I'm just calling it side A, so it's going to be A over the sine of angle A, which is sine 35, is equal to side B, which is 12, over sine B, which is sine 78. Okay? Then to get side A, I should say, all we do is just cross multiply. So I'll say here that A times sine 78 is equal to sine 35 multiplied by 12. So A is going to be sine 35 multiplied by 12 over sine 78. And then all we do is just go to our calculator and work this out. So it'll be sine 35 multiplied by 12. Remember, make sure your calculator is in degrees mode. Divided by the sine of 78. And that will give me 7.036685702. So A is going to be approximately 7.04 meters. And that's to 2 decimal places. Okay. Let's look at the next example. This situation here, it says find the size of the side which is labelled B. Okay, so let's go ahead and label our triangle first of all. So if that's side B, let's call this angle B. Let's go ahead and call this angle A. So that will be small letter A over here. So we'll call this C. So this will be small letter C. Now it's always important to note that if you can find out things in the triangle, go ahead and do it. So I've got an angle missing here. I'm missing out the angle which is at B. So let's go ahead and work it out. So it's going to be 38 plus 85. So that's going to give me 123. So then it'll be 180, take away 123, which will give me 57 degrees. So straight away, if you ever see a triangle where you have two sides, and where you have two angles, I should say, and you want to work something out, before you do anything, just find out the third angle. You might need it, you might not. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down the sine rule. So the sine rule says that A over sine A is equal to B over sine B is equal to C over sine C. So let's tick off what we know. Well, I know what side C is. I also know what angle C is. I know what angle B is. I know what angle A is. And I want to work out the size of side B. So I'll put my question mark here. So that's what I want. I have a complete fraction, and I have a fraction I know one thing, I need to work out the other thing. The rogue one we don't need is A. So we just forget that. So we're just dealing with B over sine B is equal to C over sine C. So that's going to be B over sine 57 is equal to 24 over sine 85. Cross multiply, so I get B times sine 85 is equal to 24 times sine 57. So B is equal to 24 multiplied by sine 57 all over sine 85. So then let's just go ahead and work that out. Remember, make sure your calculator is in degrees mode. So 24 multiplied by sine 57. Always make sure you press equals and then divide by your denominator. So divide by sine 85. So that gives me 20.204,97968. So therefore B is going to be approximately equal to 20.2 meters. And that's just to one decimal place there. Okay. Remember, it doesn't matter what you round it to. If the question hasn't asked you, you can round it to whatever you want, as long as it's within reason. But that's just us using the sine rule in order to find a side.